And hello everybody, it is I, the Roguescaper, your paint-colored, covered fiend. Today we are working on something that definitely is scary for a lot of people, mainly because of the fact that it is provided unpainted, is the Thyraxis. If you notice, I've already started doing some base layers. I thought it'd be nice to do more of a focus more on highlights and some more of the advanced techniques for the Thyraxis as we gotta build up these colors and fill in the missing spots. So yeah, I'm just gonna dive into it. It's that time of the week to just start painting. Just to kind of summarize what we've done so far, we've used what is that color called? We've used a dark jade applied via airbrush just to the whole model to save me a lot of time with the application, and I've used a dark umber for the body just to give it a nice dark base to build up these browns, and we used a red orange, a new color I got from Pro Krill, just to start building up these colors as well. Now if I can just stay in focus, we will be looking really good. Let's see where my focal range is. Let's see if I can make that just a bit bigger today for you all. And I hope you are all doing well this hallowed season. And yeah, without much further ado, let's dive right in. Alright, so next we are just going to work on filling in all these base layers. I am using some metal color from Vallejo, which I find to be very great. That was recommended by Fintrella, who says it's one of their favorites. That brand is one of their favorite metallics to use, and so far I've been relatively impressed with it. It's very smooth, it's almost inky. So if you're looking for a good metallic to use, definitely recommend using this. And it just comes on quite smoothly. I have painted many of these Thyraxises so far. Thyraxi. I think this is number 13 I've painted. As before, this thing is provided unpainted to the community, so I've had to kind of step in and paint it for people, which is nice. I think this is the only model, Hat and Decker are the only ones with appropriate margins for those looking to resell. Because honestly, the pre-painted Heroscape, I can't match their price points. Of course, I think I do better quality than the pre-paints, but for people who don't really care about that much, I certainly can't match the like that $20 increase for 8 figures or whatever. The least favorite to paint. Indeed, yeah, this one is miserable. That's why I take to using airbrush for the base parts off screen. It's not very exciting. And honestly, why I haven't made a tutorial on how to paint this guy yet. I've done multiple methods and I'm trying to find the easiest way for someone just picking up paints to paint this guy. Also, I did have a recording that kind of got corrupted, and I just haven't had the heart to to refilm it, which is just part of miniature painting. I've had several projects I've abandoned just because of poor focus or lack of, sometimes I'm figuring out the model as I'm painting it. I was like, I don't really know what to tell people. So this is definitely one, but I have like 8 more on my shelf. I plan on getting around to eventually. So it'll be made eventually. Right now we're using a drab brown for the teeth, which is just a nice kind of off greenish brown. It's a really great way to build up to some more bone color. It's honestly one of my favorite colors from Pro Krill. I use it a whole lot. It's very versatile. Yet the only one you've ever painted? Hey, that's something right there. Scale from 1 to 10, how difficult is Dragoon to paint? It's in the backlog right now. Yeah, Dragoon... Okay, so there are ways. I'm trying to find the easiest way to do it. If you use speed paints, it's not terrible, and if you don't care about getting all the details correct, if you just kind of want to get color on it, it's not terrible. A lot of it is on how you do your priming and how you prep the model. A lot of you want to go in with a game plan. But if you're using pure acrylics, it's a little up there. It's more tedious than hard. It's just like the angles are, you're kind of getting like this part right here, not entirely enjoyable. There's a lot of weird gaps. Almost, I'm tempted, I might even do it on the stream, is I usually pop off the base to hit the bottom very well. But I wish I could cut, Rider in half right here, and just get this little inner angle. So it's really not hard. It's just awkward. And is there music playing for you all? I'm not hearing it on my end, but I think it is playing. I think my monitor's not work. You're getting neck cramps, yeah. After a long painting session, I feel very I'm like, oh wow, I'm definitely feeling my 30 years old at this point right now. One of the best investments you can get if you plan on doing a lot of painting is a good chair. A good ergonomic chair will be worth its weight in gold. I used to do this like on a wooden bench, and let me tell you that was painful. But yeah, that's honestly why I'm disappointed they chose this figure as the promo. Like, Decker is really easy to paint. You can paint him in an hour or less, depending on how far you want to take it. And he's really accessible, really small, good colors to work with. This is just not a good model for a beginner to start diving into. Like, this is going to be many people's first model, and it's a more difficult one. It's not as bad as Bug Ball. I think Bug Ball is just, at least for me, the least fun to paint. Just because it's like painting 40 guys stacked on top of each other. 30 years, those 2 decades. It's coming for me fast. I'm in the blink phase now, where I'm gonna blink and I'm like, oh wow, I still haven't painted all my gallery after 2 decades. You know what? I'm gonna be funny. I'm gonna show you. This is my immediate Scape backlog. Not even for other games or anything else. This is just Heroscape that I have to get through, and I have to get through all this before the new stuff releases. So my work here is never done. Thankfully, I enjoy it. Need your help? What medium do you use to thin acrylic paints like folk art? Let's see. So that's usually folk art has their own selective medium that they sell alongside their stuff. Let me check to see if I'm correct on that. Yeah, so it should be, let's see, they usually sell a medium separate from their paint. Let's see if I can see if they actually have it. If not, you can use really any medium from any brand, and it will work. If all else fails, use Lamian medium for Citadel, or Pro Acryl medium, are the 2 best I found. They have the binders and suspenders in it. Yeah, I'm not seeing a dedicated medium for them. They have floating medium, which I have no idea what that is. Yeah, I guess they don't have that, which makes sense. They're more of a. You can get flow medium is usually what you want, or acrylic medium is what I get. But honestly, just get a just get like Lamian or Pro Acryl Glaze Wash Medium, and both will work. It's a so the thing with like stuff like folk art, it's paint at its core. It just has less pigment value. So ultimately, there's when you try to disperse it for glazing and thinning down, there's just less color to spread around. That's why I usually use the paints for miniatures and stuff like that. Just because that's why I specifically use Pro Acryl, just because the pigment content is so high, I have a little bit more control on it. But I'm kind of rambling, lost my train of thought here. But yeah, so ultimately, there's less pigment in folk art and apple barrel and stuff like that. So you can just probably use just a bit of water and a bit of just another brand's acrylic medium. Because all paint is essentially the same. It's just kind of their formulations and their pigments and the quality of the stuff they use. Very low sound of the music. Let me turn that up a bit. And 2 years of live paint videos. Yeah, it's a lot. I will not live paint all that. I will I will use my flexible schedule and stay up to 3 a.m. for 5 nights in a row and get them all done. People ask me why I don't have my caps on my painting, my lids a lot, and it's because I'm painting at like 4 a.m. sometimes, and I just get a little disoriented when I'm doing that. Right now we are taking a jade mixed slightly with that dark turquoise, and we're starting to kind of line out these highlights. And that was just text. Yeah, that was a bit ago. That was a little bit before my time. That was, I mean, I yearned for those times where the internet was a bit simpler. So it's a bit of a mess nowadays. Soon I'll just be replaced by some kind of robot or AI doing my work here. And I'm sure the AI can stay on task and focus, so But I will look more into folk art to see what's the best way to disperse and blend it. I honestly haven't used it in so long. I'm not super familiar with the best stuff. I was more just kind of off the cuff. But I'll post some findings on my Discord channel, and next time I go live, I'll certainly bring it up if you're here as well. Because it is interesting. I have a video I have pinned I want to make of just, what's the cheapest you can start painting good? Like, what do you need? What's the essentials? Because I'll be the first to admit is I have a lot of stuff that I know a lot of average person doesn't use. And it's just mainly just because I paint a whole bunch. Anything to help me save minutes or just make the process more comfortable for me, is a well investment that I know that everyone needs to use. It's so I wanted to do a little bit of research and see, what's the lowest cost someone can get into this hobby and not be miserable doing it. Because I think there is a line you can do, just very cheap stuff, but I think there's a point where some things you need to invest in, and some things that you can do without. Like, you don't need the branded wash cup right here. That's stainless steel. You can use just a cup. There's ways to cut corners. I think honestly the most important thing to splurge on is the stuff that isn't even painting. Is your ergonomics, a really good light, and a really good chair will be worth more. Will make painting more enjoyable than any amount of quality paint or brushes. Yeah, folk art is just, it comes down to that pigments, like I was mentioning before. It's just I mean, paint is paint. At the end of the day, paint is just paint. It's just you can do whatever I'm doing with folk art, and it just takes a bit longer because you have less color density to work with. Alright, so we're gonna get some black green for these legs. That's honestly the part I hate most about this model, is these legs, because whatever you do, if you decide to be fancy in the legs, you have to be fancy 8 times over. And then these little spikes here are like the bane of my existence. They make it hard to just do some like techniques to cheat on it. So I've learned to avoid them as much as possible at this stage. And we're using this black ring just to get this really nice dark layer on. Typically when you're painting, you want to start with your darkest layer and work your way up. Of course, you can kind of do that in reverse and start with your lightest layer and work your way down. Both are valuable, both have their own pros and cons, but I think it's a bit easier to work dark to light. I think people understand how color works in that way a bit better. Like, it's easier to understand what is a lighter color of dark green compared to what is a darker color of bright green. I do wish these had the same color. That would make it a bit easier on my side, but we'll add some different colors here. Main thing is just going to keep your paints thin. You don't want to be clogging up these thin lines on the legs, no matter what method you're using. Because the moment those start filling up with paint, the moment you kind of lose the ability to tell stories and details in those crevices. I haven't picked out my Halloween costume yet either. I am way behind just on things this year. It's been a busy month for me. I have no idea what I'm going to be. What will you use to protect your brushes during storage? I just use this thing right here. It's just like an acrylic brush holder right here. I also just the main thing is going to depends on how you store them. You know, if you move them around and put them away. But if you kind of have them out and open in like in a dedicated spot, you just want to protect the bristles. As long as you don't put them, head down into the place. I put some in like a big just can I have off camera. So that's the main thing. I find actually like cheap there's like cheap pencil boxes you get from the like the store during back to school sales is really good if you have to travel them. If there's a little bit of space. Main thing is you just don't want pressure on the brush bending them backwards. When I first started painting, I just used to leave them face down in the water overnight, and that took me a bit of learning. I was like, oh wait, you gotta care for your brushes. You gotta respect your brushes. If you find yourself like buying new brushes every month, if you have decent brushes, if you just buy nothing but like cheap Amazon brushes, that's fine. But if you paid a little bit of money for your brush, it should last you a good while. Main thing to remember is just what I use is help me out so much because I'm pretty rough in brushes. I'm just kind of a naturally a rough person. I got from Game Envy. They have what's called a brush scrubber. You put it at the bottom of your pot here, and when you rinse out your brush, it cleans it as well, so it goes deep into where you've gotten the paint out. This is almost doubled or tripled the life of my brushes, and it's like $6 on Amazon. Really liked your recent product opening video, putting each mini on the rotating platform. See all sides of it. It was great. Thank you. Yeah. I try to put a little bit more effort into those. I try to get really close. I also had some focus issues when I was opening it up, and I just, I didn't want to repackage everything else up. A little bit behind the scenes stuff there, but I'm figuring out. I want to figure out some better ways to. I try to keep them pretty kind of pretty neutral when I open them. I don't like to tell people what to think too much, but I do like to show off stuff to give people an idea of what they look like. So I think there's a box opener on YouTube that does a lot of mini stuff that I'm really inspired by. Is the Gallant Goblin, and they do really great work. So if you find someone doing great stuff, I try to emulate them. But no, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's I have the whole setup for that kind of stuff, which is nice. Probably next one I'll do a little bit less evaluation of the cards. And when I opened that to the video, it was like a big day. I was kind of worn out because it was the same day that all the new stuff released. So I was almost like, why do I even need to review this stuff? All the new stuff is coming out, but then you kind of realize, oh wait, this is like months from now. Oh yeah, super high quality 4K for this video. Well, thank you. That really actually does mean a whole lot to me, just because I studied film. That's what I went to college for. So I'm a bit of a quality head as much as possible. It's hard to maintain that while painting minis and talking and doing that stuff. So, but I really do. I do try to make it as approachable for people jumping in. Who want to see the product, make their own decisions, and I try to shoot at high quality. I actually, right now, I'm shooting in 6K and I downscale to 4K. So I have some mirrorless cameras I invested in and some good lenses and stuff like that. My secret is I'm really bad at phone cameras. I know I'm not even like elitist about it. I'm just not I'm not good at them. I'm kind of classically trained in a sense, so I don't understand vertical video. I don't understand how to make a phone work, so I just do the more complicated option. I don't like painting videos where it's just like, the camera is all the way up here, I'm painting like this, and I try to get as close as possible. I'm still figuring things out here. I'm saving up for a bit of a better lens, because currently I'm just using the kit lens for my mirrorless, but it's definitely taken a long time to figure out the language of close-up mini cinematography for sure. I'm still learning. I would not say I'm a master. I do about a different camera setup, try different things about every 2 months. Thing to note about when you're painting paint is that it always appears brighter, and then it dries, it darkens considerably. So you're usually going to go back and do several layers, thin layers, to make sure that it's at the solidity that you want it to be. What are my thoughts on G.I. Joe? Excited for it? Not really. So that's kind of like an interesting question. I'm not excited for the G.I. Joe IP, if that makes sense, just because I know nothing about it. But if I can kind of distance myself from the IP and just look at the figures and the concepts and the quality, then I am excited. Like, my dad's a really big G.I. Joe fan, and my dad doesn't play mini games. He's a very very type A personality where he's like, all right, let's do this. All right, I'm bored. Let's pick up some rules. So Heroscape is the one game where he'll sit down and play a full game with me. Although he does not like to play with order markers, so he removes that when we play. But it's just he'll be really excited to have Snake Eyes in his army. He's always been telling me that he'd like to see more IPs added to the game. So for that reason alone, it's got me excited. And the models and the art and the abilities are just really well done. Like, I've said this before, but I'm almost upset by how well they are. Like, if they were bad, I could just kind of ignore it. You know, like, I don't really want any of that. But they all look so cool. And they're kind of generic enough where it's like, I don't have to know a lot about G.I. Joe to appreciate them. I can just say these are cool future soldiers in my game, and it doesn't really ruin the immersion too much for me. So I'm really most excited about just the toxic terrain. I have a lot, I think, for like when I make my like, you know, like I did the intro for Scape-Oween. I filmed that. I would have loved some toxic terrain, make some glow in the dark skulls on the map and stuff like that. I think the terrain itself has lots of fun possibilities. Yeah, the battle box isn't good, and if it brings more people into the game and keeps the IP alive, then I'm not going to complain. You know, I think G.I. Joe is a really good launching point. I think some others will be a bit harder to jive with. Like, I think Power Rangers will feel a little too off for me if they ever make that. But I don't hate it. I just hate that I like it so much that I have to buy it, which is, I guess, a good spot to be in. I mean, I'm kind of a completionist anyways, so I would have bought it regardless. I don't like the Marvel stuff that much, and I, for some reason, have like 6 sets of the the Marvel stuff, so I just kept on finding them after the game. It got discontinued, so those are the units my kids get to play with when they play with me. But no, overall, I think the presentation, the quality is really, really well done, and they didn't go cheap on it. It didn't. The thing I think I appreciate the most is it didn't feel like this was a quick cash grab. I think, honestly, it was the opposite. Like, they spent a lot of time and effort to make sure it really represented the IP and the vibe, while still making like classic Heroscape relevant and useful. Like, there's some fun synergies. I'm excited to have agent bonding with Carr, and I'm excited that Sergeant Drake gets some cool utility. Yeah, G.I. Joe's less immersion breaking. Yeah, exactly. Like, we already have. I just gotta pretend like they're all the future agents or the Ninja Clan. Like, it's not that hard. I don't know how I feel about painting them. If I'm like a painter side, I'm less excited to paint them, I think. Just because they're kind of based on something. Which I guess everything's based on something, but I don't know. It just feels different painting those. But I am excited to try to paint some vehicles like the battlecopters and all that stuff. And I think it's fun. I think I have mostly positive things to say about it. Really, the only thing I don't like are the Microcore Troopers, or not the Cobra Troopers. I feel like they're just going to be a bit too spammy, a bit too strong. I hate 4-man range squads. Like, they're just so they just are so hard to chew through if you're not properly prepared for them. Like, main way I play now is in tournaments, so just blind format without a chance to counter draft, and you know, I like to play kind of weird melee armies, and it's just someone brings, you know, 4 or 5 Cobra Troopers, you're just kind of out of luck. You're just gonna get blasted as you walk up to them, and that's the only thing I don't like. Yeah, I'd probably get this pre-painted. See, secretly, I wish I could, but I'm the Heroscape paint guy, and I have to paint them, so I've chosen my fate, so I accept it. But they will not be as high on the, like, I need to get these done as my other guys. I have a lot of guys to paint. Alright, we're gonna go to some camo green here. Yeah, let's do some camo green for the legs. Sure how they will do full G.I. The biggest thing was all the vehicles. I would love to see more vehicles in Scape. Like, people get kind of weird when you just say you want, like, some vehicles. They're like, how is that even possible in the landscape? I don't know. I mean, we have giant blimps now, and that kind of seal has been broken of things. So I love some cool ATVs and tanks and stuff like that. I think that would look really cool in the battlefield. And what we're using right here is the side of our brush and just kind of bringing out the points where we want the brightness to show through. Speaking of tournaments, how did my last one go with Raylan 4.0? I got 5th place. I ran a weird army in a common format. There was no figure limit, so there was some really strong armies out there. I got 5th place, and out of 13 contestants, so I was happy with my placement. And it was double elimination, so I had a 2-hour drive home, so I was happy to be eliminated when I did, because I got there at 3, and it was 7 o'clock and still going on when I got eliminated. So I was like, you know what, this is fine. I'm fine getting out early in this one. But, so, I was running Haluchat, 1 Ice Troll, Onshu, Vrono, Chana, Heirloom, and Raylan. So just a really weird army that you wouldn't expect to see. And surprisingly, it did alright. I realized the weakness of that army, because I was prepared for commons. It was kind of like an anti-common unit. It had a lot of utility secretly packed in there for stuff, but for units with like heavy hitters was just like huge heavy hitters was not prepared for. One game against Maladrix, I whiffed an attack of 4 onto my Haluchat, and then they infected Raylan and then burst Raylan, and I was pretty much out after that in a single round. And then another one I lost to a Xenothrax, which was crazy. Someone was fielding Xenothrax and green skills. A lot of green skills, a lot of 10th Fetch were kind of the meta there. I felt bad for one event because someone asked, like, oh, can I see your cards? Well, someone says, I was like, oh, do you need to see my cards? Like, ah, no, I'm good. We're good. And they were fielding 10th Reg, and I just brought up Heirloom, and they were all clustered together, and I got rid of like 2 squads like in a single turn. He's like, oh wait, he has area of effect. I was like, yep. Heirloom is probably my favorite unit in the game. Just because he's my answer to spammy armies. I love bringing him out. They're like, oh wait, I can't get through his auto shield. Oh wait, he just blew up all my squads. He's really great. And I used him with Chana, and Chana would fly in after he took a couple wounds and heal him up. Raylan 4.0 was interesting. It was interesting because everyone had a Raylan 4.0, so it was honestly kind of hard to see how she was be different in a standard build. But she's this weird, aggressive cheerleader. Like, you keep her by there, and then I'm not like in love with her design. I think really what she needs is an ability to like switch order markers to her, which I think in the Thorman build she actually might be really good, because you swoop her in, you do the swoop, you get the wound if you're lucky. If you don't, then you're just kind of there. You get the wound, and you have to predict that that's going to happen, and then put an order marker onto that to take advantage of her Whirlwind Assault, which if you can get it set up right, it's really potent. Like, I was up, someone decided to bring Krav to the event, as like an opener, and then they decided to pick out one of my they like shot at my ice troll, and I swooped in, and then I predicted that, and the next turn I put an order marker. I mean, yeah, I predicted that and put an order marker in Raylan, and she wiped out the crab in a single turn. She has great like anti-crab tech. But once she kind of gets out there, she's just kind of on her own. You have to play her aggressively. I wish her swoop worked for herself as well, because I think that she would have a lot more utility if she got wounds, or if her allies got wounds. But I just 105 is a weird point build to build around. I wish it was more like 90. I think she's more of a 90 point figure than a 105 point figure. Sean says, I'd like to see more units like Thyraxis, but like a squads of horses or soulborn motorcycles that can carry other units. My big pitch is that Zed Nesbit, the big blimp, should have just had like a form of carry, or he passes over a unit, he can move them. It doesn't have to be Vorids, it's just any unit he passes over. And if you don't want like weird Raylan shenanigans, just say any non-flying unit. And then he has so much more utility, because right now Zed Nesbit I think is one of the worst units in Contemporary, even with the Chain Gruts. I don't think there is a unit worse than him. So it's unfortunate, because he's a big blimp and he's a pain to paint, and he looks really cool, but he's just not very good. But yeah, more. I would love a carry squad. I hate having to carry just one unit. It's terrible. For a custom I designed a while back, I made it like a flock of griffins that like had less movement than Thyraxis and lower attack and defense. Like they're just primarily used for defense, but instead of attacking, you could just move 3 of them, and they had the carry ability, so you could like move your whole army forward if you wanted to. Which I think I love that modern Scape is really leaning into development needs to be more part of the game. Like, it's not like a lot of classic Scape units is just figure it out. That's why it really is designed to let just commons run the game. And it's nice to be, even with like things like Tanukis and just so many options to develop nowadays, that you just don't have like 10 units sitting in your start zone. And Maladrix is core to Contemporary Scape. I love Maladrix. So like, she's had her time in the sun, but like with more and more commons getting released, she's becoming less and less good. But she's still good enough that you can still field her. Like, it's still like an option just because she has the stats. She's fun. I think more heroes need to be at the power level of Maladrix to compete with how strong squads are. That's my hot take. I think heroes are not strong enough and squads are too strong. Like, I hate having all heroes have like 3 defense. Like, that's terrible. Let the heroes stick on the board more than 2 turns. It's mainly they balance it that way because of Raylan. Like, just they don't want these super boosted units, but I think we slowly are seeing design move away from the concept that Raylan exists and formats are played in. Like, Thorman, I think, would never exist in Classic Scape because moving Raylan is deemed too powerful. Whereas, I think it's kind of time to let the past die a bit. Also, we're using Tree Ancient for this round as we just bring up the next layer. As you can't be monologuing. See, this is where I hate the model. Like, right here. Like, you really have to angle your brush just to get in there. Alright. taking that red-orange we previously applied and just filling in the areas I didn't do. A few weeks ago, exposed the players to the McDurk Warriors for the first time. I love the McDurks. I think the McDurks are overhated, and I think they're awesome. I think people just... people freak out when they see 2 defense. And I will feel McDurks overnights any day. If you've ever been, pummeled by 4 attacks of 5 from the McDurks, you know to fear them. You have to play McDurks like the Vipers. Like, you just have to play really aggressive. And you just have to be like in your opponent's face and be willing just to lose as many units to kill whatever possible. And you also just have to be a little tactical with your hero. Like, it's okay to have William Wallace retreat. Like have him do his thing and have him run away the rest of the game. Yeah, I like McDurks a lot. Oh, 5 wounds. So were they attacking like 7? 7 consistently? Yeah, that's pretty fun. Are they base 2 or base... Yeah, I think they're base 2, right? Yeah, it's been a while since I played them. Base 2 attack. They're here with 5 wounds very far away. Yeah, it's fun. I love playing with them. I like armies that are a little bit risky and really powerful. Like, I love playing snakes. Because you'll have either a bad game or you'll frenzy 6 times in a row. I like armies with a little bit of luck when my skill isn't there. Oh, 8 with height, and then if you have like room for Thorgrim, or Fenn, they're chewing through things. And we're just using this dark green, just filling in these lines right here. Back and forth, that's what painting is. It's just, you bring it forward a little bit, and then you bring it back down. Alright, we're going to use dark orange-brown for the pants, and also to layer up the teeth. I just like browns. I like having a big collection of browns in your toolkit. I know it's easy to make browns, like you just mix 2 opposite colors, but I just am lazy, and I like just to be able to grab a new shade of brown to work with. Because you'll probably use brown more than any other color when you're mini painting. And I'm really bad at memorizing like ratios and formulas and stuff like that, so I like to have things pre-mixed as much as possible. I still do strongly encourage people to learn some basic color theory and learn how to mix your paints, just because it's a good skill to have. Because not every pre-mixed paint in your range will have the color you're looking for. It's also just a great way to get shadows and some more unique colors. But I'm lazy, so I'd rather buy a bottle of paint than remember what mixture I used. I also just have to have a lot of consistency when I do. I have to remember, sometimes over a couple days of what I used for like squads and stuff like that to make them consistent. Lucky no one had Zelrig. Yeah, Zelrig will feast on the McDurks. There. I had a fun match I introduced some new players with. it was McDurk's versus Ashigaru spam, and that was a fun army, fun one to be a part of. Although the McDurks really didn't need the extra boosted attack in that scenario, because you're killing the Ashigaru with 2 or with 8. But they did break through the line after initiative switch and kill Kato, and then they had like 2 whole turns just to chew through their Ashigaru with like 6 attack, which is the problem with that army. It's very, very backloaded. Yeah, I always just need to start bringing Zelric. I don't like doing common spam too much. It's not, I don't mind a few comments here and there. I just don't like how there's no way to snipe your order markers. There's no like strong decision points. It's just kill all the units as faster than they can kill you. And that's not to say there isn't like strategy and stuff like that behind it. It's just a different. I like when strategy is related to order marker placement and usage instead of just because I think I'm better at order marker placement than I am at figure development. That's kind of my weakest attribute as a player, is developing and knowing when to develop and hold figures. That and just learning to roll better, because I have abysmal rolls. Alright, so for the teeth, we are thinning this orange brown down and kind of just going from the base to where we want to go. Being careful to kind of keep these spaces between each tooth separate. Just to really make them stand out a bit more. Can't learn to roll better. Well, I'm going to figure out a way to, because I have abysmal luck. I play a D&D, and I'm the dungeon master. I literally have to raise encounters by like 2 or 3 challenge levels, just because I roll so reliably bad that it's not even like a challenge for my players at hard fights. So I have to be like, all right, let's just bring out the big monsters, because I have a plus 11 to hit, and I'm still gonna miss consistently. Alright, for these little spines, we're just kind of tracing the outermost line, really kind of catching that light and finding those shapes. There we go, do the same here on the sides. If you figure out how to roll better, please just post a video. I could use a hand. Yeah, the secret is... Here, I'll show you. The only way to reliably roll better is use this die right here. Just This is the only way I'm doing good. Have I done any Scudire, including a knave, with the purple skin from the HasLab? I have not. I'm kind of reserving that scheme for the new Scudire that was announced. I just felt like green fit. I like working with green a whole lot. I did do some purple purple elements like on my Maladrix here, and my Bug Ball kind of as the base color, but nothing. Not like the HasLab. Keep that T20 away from Marco. Yeah. But purple skin's pretty easy to work. I actually did some purple skin for Kilcarax, so it was more pale purple. But you really just want to start with like a dark blue, like a Payne's gray, and then kind of build your way up to more of a lighter purple. Like kind of do that, and then you kind of use some royal purple. I have to remember, I know it was more pink, but maybe I'm... She's gigantic compared to the Knave. Yeah, she is disproportionately sized comparatively. Like, I mind that less because bugs can be different sizes. If you look at soldier ants and, like worker ants, are different sizes. I think the one I have the problem with the most is the Durgath from the Dreadnoughts. It just feels like a totally different unit. Like, it feels like a unit that should be bigger than it is. And Crimson Widow feels a little small. Yeah, let's see, Thyraxis. Yeah, quite a big difference there. I honestly like this model a whole lot. I think it's a really unique model. What Turbo Dork color is on Maladrix? It looks incredible. That would be, I believe it's 40 classes is what I used for her. Yeah, I was pretty surprised at how small the new pirates were. Expected something close to bear size. Yeah, I was a little disappointed. They felt bigger. They felt like they should have a bigger presence on the board. I guess it makes sense because they're Gorillinator sized, but I don't know. I just feel like they should be beefier. I think many people did, and some complaints. But even at their size, they're okay. Like, they make sense. I get it. But the lizard guy, the Durgath, is just really small comparatively. Like, he's a different size base, which just it's unfortunate, but it's just part of how it works. I think some things in that set were like 20% too big, and those things were 20% too small. Okay, we are taking that light turquoise, and we are just building up these highlights again. The good thing about this model is there's lots of points to jump, so while you're waiting on an area to finish, you can kind of go and work on something else. And we're using the edge of our brush in a very thin layer of paint and kind of feathering this on to this to create a bit of volumetric highlights here. Swap the pirates and acolyte sizes. Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like the acolytes are so big, and like, yeah, I definitely agree. Like, I wouldn't mind my hammer, my gravity hammer wielding gorilla to be a bit bigger than like a servant of the undead. Yeah, it's a little unfortunate. I won't say I'm not disappointed fully in it, but like, he is gorilla nature size, and I think that's kind of what dictated their development. Although I would have appreciated if he was like a giant, more Lacklor size, just kind of like this big. Yeah, but it is what it is. It's better than D&D Scape, ultimately. I guess I'd rather have something be a bit big than a bit small. If you're all wondering, yes, I do keep all this stuff nearby in case people ask questions. I have I have it on hand to verify. See, the hardest part about this unit is these thin lines are very easy just to overfill. So you really have to take your time. Honestly, for like this body armor part, if you're a little unsure and thinning and working your model, just use speed paints. Do a base layer of speed paints and then just do highlights. Honestly, that's probably what I would do, but I think I am all out of orange speed paint. Contrast paints are a great way to establish base layers. People kind of think that you just use speed paints and you're done, but they kind of sometimes forget that speed paints are just paint. They're just like any other paint, especially with the new formula that Army Painter released. It's a lot more stable, so once it dries, it's not being reactivated, and you can build up from it with normal acrylics. And that saves you a lot of time if you just want to establish a fast, good base layer. There's a lot you can do from that. There's a method I've been wanting to make a video on called Chop Chop. It's like Slap Chop, but ultimately it uses the transparency and the flow of speed paints to create really a unique contrast. Essentially, you use speed paint for one layer, let that dry brush it with a off-white or a lighter version of the color you want to do with normal acrylic, and then you go over that with a lighter shade to pretty much create a two-toned effect to really create some unique blends and shadows. There's an artist called Don Sorrentos who's kind of revolutionized the format, and he's done some really incredible stuff with just speed paints. Because it solves the biggest problem I have with speed paints, which is it lacks definition. You can always tell when something's painted by speed paint because it's using the brightness to define the model compared to the shadows. This arm right here is annoying. I am like really thirsty. I'm gonna need water here pretty soon, I think. And we are just slowly building up our layers on his little shell here. We're going full with the color now, and we are just defining these lines. And we'll of course probably glaze it back down with a darker color, just to make it a bit more blended, a little bit less bright. You of course can also dry brush this part as well if you want to get this done a bit faster, and it probably will turn out just as good. This is me personally just trying to work on my brush control and have a bit more control of the process. But I'll probably still dry brush it just to kind of seal in some spots I missed. If you ever want to blend easily, you can also just use a dabbing motion to kind of create a little bit of texture. This is called stippling. It's a great way to add a bit of texture and just create some nuance in your layering. This is like a beetle shell, so I feel like it's not entirely smooth. And we're getting there. Slowly but surely, we are defining the shapes of this guy. Have you tried those Army Painter speed paint markers? They are on my to-do list. I've seen them. I don't know if I would like them, but I am curious. More for other people than for myself. I don't like coloring the markers. Like, I don't know. It's never was enjoyable for me as a kid. I hate it. I'm more of a color pencil kind of guy. But so it just seems like seems a little tiresome. You know what? Let's transition this to more of a brighter green here. We'll just get some standard green from Pro Krill. But I have them penned. I want to test them out just to see if they're worthwhile. I have just spent a really long time working on brush control, and so it's, you know, once you kind of get brush control, it's almost second nature. And I mean, you always have work to do, but like I'm never afraid of using a brush per se. But I think there's some interesting applications that I wanna experiment with. Okay, and we are just going from the center here, kind of add those highlights, and then going to the edge as well. Kind of picking it out. But I think they're interesting. I don't think they would work well on something like the Thyraxis. I think they would work well like on a Decker with kind of more easily defined shapes. Thyraxis is just kind of a booker, if we're being honest. It's trying to be nice about it. I try to be nice about things on my channel, but from the model to the sculpt to the proportions to the layout is just, it's not the most fun thing to paint in the world. Do I print older Heroscape models like 3D prints and stuff? Yeah, I do. I print a lot of that stuff. I used to print a lot more. I kind of took a little break from it for a bit just because I just lost a little bit of interest. There's a little less details to work with. But yeah, here's some I'm currently working on for a client. Some Death Chasers. Let's see if I have some more nearby. Let's see here. So that's a real one here. Here's like a zombie I'm working on, and minion I'm working on, and some dwarves I finished. So yeah, I've done a lot of the classic 3D prints and stuff like that. That's where I cut my teeth on. That's really where I learned to paint, was painting those units. I've probably in my lifetime, I've probably painted over 150 squads of axe grinders at this point, and counting. Yeah, those death chasers are so difficult to grab down. Yeah, they are. I wish these are models I wish were touched up, just because the faces need to be a bit more established. For here's one that's still being worked on. The armor's a bit bright, so I have to tone that down. Those 3D prints are great. You brush or spray a primer. I typically use airbrush if at all possible, or spray on. I have too much to do with brush on primer. But airbrush is a great tool for that. Is mainly what I use now. Alright, let's not there yet. What do I want to work on next? Should I work on teeth next, or something else? I don't know. Yeah, I use Pro Krill primer either way, and I have a pretty high quality printer I work on. It is a 16K print, so I've done what I could to achieve high quality in that regard. And I try to print mainly touched up models if at all possible, just because they look a lot nicer. Okay, so we're taking some Tomb King Tan from Pro Krill, and we are adding a brighter highlight for the teeth using a smaller brush with a bit more narrow head. We are just getting those highlights in. When you're doing highlights, you want to go from the brightest spot and pull away from it. So for this instance, the brightest spot will be the center curve of this tooth. Do it and kind of pull out. That way it fades into shadow. You'll also do that when you glaze shadows. You do from the darkest spot into the brightest spot. So if you ever notice that when you're painting and it's just kind of like sticking to the model and it's coming on kind of rough, that means there's not enough moisture on your brush or in the paints. And if it ever is just flowing everywhere and not fully covering something, that means there's too much moisture. It's all about knowing the right balance. How many teeth do you want this guy to have? Let's do like a good 100 or so, all very visible. And front of the model, so if you make a mistake, everyone will see. Sounds good to me. Except the sculptor of this model. Me and Thyraxis have a lot of beef. We go way back. because this is number 13 that I've painted. And I'm starting to lose my patience with her. That's really why I painted it live on stream, is I didn't want to do it by myself. I needed someone to talk with me while I try to get some of the more boring stuff done here. Just find some missing areas. Oh, I forgot. This guy's like, we're gonna use dark yellow green from Pro Acryl and start kind of buffing up the colors on this to make it stand out a bit more. When you paint greens, if you really want it to be prominent, you want to start from more of a bluish green and gradually make your way up to yellow. How did I paint up my own Dragoon? Did you keep the original color scheme? Let's see here. So this is mine that I've painted for myself. This is kind of more of the test model to get kind of things worked out. It's definitely probably not the best one, but I'm fairly happy with how it turned out. That's kind of classic scheme right there. I had some mess ups on the legs here when I was kind of figuring it out. And here's one I did with the Turbo Dork just to see how that worked. Kind of similar color scheme, just more consistent with it. The problem I have with Turbo Dork is it's hard to apply highlights because it's kind of built in. But this one might go up for sale or be a giveaway soon. I don't really know what I'm going to do with this one. So stay tuned. Either way. This one, the biggest change I made is I was figuring out yellow, orange and yellow before. Kind of had to work on that texture, and I think I've learned a little bit in that regard. Alright, so we're going to take some bold titanium white for the eyes. Fill those in. I'm doing this before I finish the face just because the angle of it's so weird. I always like overdo it. Do you actually sell your own painted models, like on eBay, Facebook, Discord, etc.? Not like anywhere officially. It's usually just people asking me to do so. So I don't have like a place where like I publicize it too much. It's kind of like on the to-do list, but I don't know. I've been talking to Wargame Trader a bit to see if they have like commission tab they can open up. Honestly, I kind of took a break from it because I was getting a little burnt out. And I've just kind of started doing some small things again. But I never had a problem finding sales. I actually had a problem turning things down. And I also just, it's tough to sell, like, at least new Heroscape pre-painted. There's not a big, like, or I mean, like nicely painted. There's not a huge market for it besides like Thyraxis and stuff like that. Just because the pre-painted really kind of limits all that, so it's not really a viable investment. But I've sold some stuff before to mainly people in Discord that just message me. They have like a very specific thing they want for a model, or they want to show. I've had some people who just want to show up to a tournament and really flex on their friends and stuff like that. Is the main people that kind of contact me. Gonna fix that leg. Have I printed and painted my own Samuel Brown? Huh. Let me go check. I'll be right back. The chat's goal is just to have me get up as many times. 'Cause I think I have, but I don't remember if I sold it or not. So let me go see. So this is what I found here. This is apparently the one I've just decided to keep. I think I painted this like 3 years ago. It's not a very good paint job, but you know, it's great to hold your old paints to remember. Yeah, so I guess this is the one I have on hand when I play Samuel Brown, which I don't play too often because I don't like the fourth mass. But yeah, not the best. But he is serviceable. I'll have to make a new one. I think I paid myself a really nice one, but someone bought it off me. I just haven't bothered to paint a new one. It's nice to flex some cool models when you play, win or lose, do it with style. That's how I say, like, when I'm down 4-0 in a tournament, and it's just losing with style at that point. It's tough though, because I don't like playing with unpainted models on the field, and so sometimes I will just rush to get them done in time for a tournament. It's the biggest motivation. But no shame if anyone shows up to a tournament with unpainted models. This isn't Warhammer. This is just, you know, it really just, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's just vanity. And so, like, especially the new stuff. Like at Gen Con, I was playing with unpainted stuff just because I got the stuff at Gen Con. I didn't really have a chance to do much with it. I lose a tournament, I say I'm losing, but I'm losing with style. Like Toy Story. I've seen Gen Con. There was some really fun paint jobs I've seen. The last tournament I went to, someone painted their Maladrix to be like a lava themed. So like they painted the internals all fiery orange and stuff like that, and then they made the X, like the parts of the exterior little lines all black. It was pretty cool. See, I have a problem where I see like a cool paint job and I want to like do that, like where I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I regret instantly how I painted mine. Why did I paint mine normal? For the most part, I paint like the box colors or close to them, just so I can be a little knowledgeable when people ask for about it. I say with a little bit of authority, oh yeah, these colors work good for it. Or I noticed this issue. Any figures you hope are to get created a new version of? That is a script I'm currently working on. I think we need a new... Okay, so this is... I'm going to go on a tangent here. So there's two categories. Lore or coolness of just, this is my favorite unit, I want to bring it back. Or narratively, it makes sense for us to bring this unit back. I think a really big one is Kimoshi. She's talked a lot about, she's mentioned, she's referenced, and she's kind of absent from contemporary. So I hope she gets a new version to do her some justice. I could see her going to Revna now that Ukkar's theoretically dead and becoming just a witch to bond with the Revenants, which I think would be really cool. I think it'd be cool to explore some unique squads from the Master Set, branching off into heroes. I think some people in the chat were talking about that in Discord. I think it'd be cool to have one of the Tarn Vikings come back as just a hero, or one of the Izuma Samurai become like a Ronin. I think it would be cool narratively. Create new heroes. This is my personal one, and this is a bit weird. I want a new Sidema that's uncursed, and pretty much she just looks like a Greek, Medusa, and she could still serve Vidor, or she could serve Revna now at this point, and just as like her unleashed form, I think would be cool. Same for Marku. Like, I would love an uncursed Marku to enter the fray. Like, he's just a full-on ancient vampire lord, kind of a contemporary Cyprian. Dragon. Yeah, just Dragon! Oh, Dragoon! Dragoon! Yeah. This bug. On a bug. I would love for them to revisit the Zedian guards as like a common unit. As just like... I would love it as like a 3-man common squad where they lower its defense, and instead of like, it has more of like a machine gun special attack instead of like a targeting special attack, where it's just like, oh, we realize the issue is we were focusing too much on being accurate, and where they just need to fire relentlessly. I think would be kind of a fun. Honestly, it's just some Deathwalkers in contemporary Scape would be really cool. Like, I think Vidar Silborg's my least favorite variety of them all. Like, I want some Omnicrons and Deathwalkers to come back. So many. I would love to see so many things. I think we're going to get a new Sujoa, because we've talked about her. We have insect bonding now, and it's weird that Sujoa's just kind of there, but not there. What else would I love to see? We got Agent Kara. That was a big one. I don't think we need a new Negaxa. I think that's a little derivative. I feel like there's not a better way to make Negaxa. But I would love like a mobile hive, like a hive that crawls or something from the Master Set, like a hive, like a mobile infantry hive for the Morrow. Trying to remember all the units in the game and what's been talked about in the lore. I think Johnny Shotgun needs a new iteration. He's kind of important to the lore. He's one of the few like expansion pack characters that like does things in the main story. So a new Johnny Shotgun would be cool. Nice classic historical. Not really a duplicate, but I think I would like a Rannoch Warlord in the vein of a Phoenix Warlord. Kind of a spiritual successor. What else? Oh, and I would love like a new Elf Wizard, like one that was there but just remodified. I think, honestly, Jordan has the most room for growth. But maybe Cantella. Cantella can have her chance to shine as a 2.0. I'd accept either one. Oh, obvious one. Consummate. Let's bring Consummate and let's make him the powerhouse that he was described to be. Hey, let's put Consummate on a chariot and give him 1 shield defense. And see if we can make Consummate good. I don't think I ever want to paint again. What about Morrow? New Isamu -5 points. I think a new Isamu would be a really great addition. Plus, his Twilight Clan ninjas would be really cool. I think that would give a lot of just cool lore. Honestly, I would like Isamu to be like, we need like a 20-point or under filler unit for Contemporary. Like, that's something we're really lacking. Like, we have Deflecticron, and even then Deflecticron is still 25 points. Like, we need like a 10-point, can take a Wanok wound type of unit, just so you don't have to leave 20-30 points on the bench when you build your set. What about Morrow? See, I think Morrow had their time to shine. I don't think we need like a bunch of Morrow. Their story's been told. Their hive's been beaten. Like, at the end of the day, I think we can have a couple variations come in, but like, they're not main antagonist anymore. And I know everyone wants them to be, but like, they had their whole master set release like around them. But I could see some new Morrow being released. I could definitely see that happening. Now, Morrow need a really good beat stick. I would love a Morrow that just has a high defense. Just like a 4 or 5 defense Morrow that bonds with any smaller medium Morrow hero. And that's what all they do. They're pretty much knights for the Morrow. So that way you can bring Kimoshi into the fray, you can bring Bakburna into the fray, you can bring Tobulkra, and, you know, just get some fun new build options. You can use Nagaxa if you want to. Honestly, what we really need for Morrow is a flying Morrow squad. I think if they did like a Morrow squad based off Kairi, I think that'd be really cool. Like the Morrow have been operating in secret, kidnapping Kairi for their plans, for their gene splicing, and released flying Morrow into the game would be really cool. Read Still Science and C3V Goblins already filled in signage, but I'd love to see Kobold show up someday. See, honestly, like, how I feel is I want another, like, the next IP to be a return to D&D. But instead of, like, just reusing D&D minis, they actually just create good new ones for Heroscape and fill in some missing stuff. And that way they can kind of, like, use D&D again, since it's really essential to the canon of Heroscape. And it's possible, like, Renegade works closely with Hasbro, and D&D will sell out to anyone, so it's not like impossible. But it'd be nice, maybe, I don't know, some people would be against this, but have more named characters and not have them assigned to generals. Have more, like, if I was to do D&D again, I would have them be by allegiance, so you would have chaotic neutral, chaotic evil, you know, that would be their affiliation, is how you would designate them. And I want a beholder in Heroscape. Really, that's the big thing that I want. Is a big old beholder. Just feels like it's the most classic D&D unit, and you really just need that in there. Yeah, beholder's text would be so long, but I would love it. Now that flying's a tagline, it's possible, I think. Give it a variable eye ray ability. Give it like some kind of order marker shenanigans. You're set. Also, like a rust beast, just to lower opponents' defenses and stuff like that. Those are like classic D&D monsters we need. Kobolds would be interesting. I think if you combined aspects of goblins and lizard folk, I think you get some really interesting stuff. I think even maybe not give them like direct bonding, but maybe have them like almost act like acolytes, where they like kind of boost the defenses or the attacks of the respective dragon. And also, we need the Lizard Folk King for the Lizard Folk. Like, I know VC made one, but in terms of official, we don't got our Lizard Folk thing. That's just a thread that is unfulfilled. It just drives me crazy. And we are using Nova Orange for these highlights on the orange, I forgot to mention. Unique Tiamat. Yeah, Tiamat Dragon. That's honestly, I want like a multi-headed dragon for Revna. I don't want like this undead dragon. I want like just a two-headed like worm for Revna. I think would be so cool. But Tiamat, yeah, like an aspect of Tiamat. Get some of those big monsters in. I don't think we need, you know, Drizzt in the fray, but I don't know. He's too popular. People would complain about him. But some rangers with some beast bonding would be nice. Kind of like proxy wizards would be cool. Some cool, just include some cool D&D beast. Like owlbears, even though they're not beasts, but they can be classified as one. And also, it's kind of a jump because originally D&D Heroscape was based on 4.0, and now we're in, I guess, technically 5.5, however you want to designate it, D&D 1. Really, 5th edition with extra steps. And it'd be nice to see some of those changes kind of come through. Tieflings, like we don't have tieflings. We'll have like a bard to show up. Just some classic things. Yeah, if they give Revna, I don't want it because like Revna has. I feel like all the other generals get actual dragons, and Revna summons things that aren't just like undead. Like she has, you know, Maladrix, and I guess that's kind of it. But like, it'd be nice to have just not all undead. Maybe we can have it both ways. Maybe like one head is like all decayed and another is like fresh. So it's like a lich dragon. I'd kind of go for kind of like this underground nemesis of the Icarian dragons up on the mountaintops. I think there's some fun ways to go about it. The Lord Soth, Greater Death Dragon figure. Let me look at that one real fast, because now I'm curious. Oh yeah, that is pretty cool. That's like a Shadow Dragon or Nightmare Dragon, right? Yeah, that's pretty cool. I have a I have a shelf up on my it's too far away to show, but it's filled with all my big stuff. I have a full-on Thyraxis, I have Tiamat, I have an ancient gargantuan dragon, red dragon. That's the shelf that if there's a dust square from where the dragon's not at, my players done know they messed up. Yeah, there's some cool design space for Rapid Dragon as long as they don't make it bland. Yeah, I'm hoping they just go classic dragon, two-headed. Maybe not even make it like flying, make it more like a windworm or some kind of worm type of deal. I think would be a more interesting take on it. Like an underground dragon would be really cool. But I could see them being lazy and just making like a skeleton dragon. I don't want a skeleton dragon because we have Subakna. And like that's already a skeleton dragon in the game. Really like that green solid. Thank you. Yeah, that was a fun one. I was torn between if I wanted to paint it green or if I wanted to paint it blue in honor of Aragon. And I just like working with green a bit more, so I went with green. And also, Olar is the green general. Of course I have a purple worm. I have 3 purple worms on the shelf. of various sizes and temperaments. My players would rather fight a ancient red dragon than a purple worm. They feel like the purple worm cheats because it can dig and surprise them, and they don't like that. Okay, let's get... I'm gonna get some bright green now. I'll be playing my Thyraxis Dragoon on Saturday. Ooh, that's exciting. That was a fun one to paint. That was, I think that was Dragoon number 4 I painted. I assume with the appropriate amount of Nagrubs for the army. What about, oh, Remoraz? Yeah, those are, so I was playing through Icewind Dale, and I had a player that his previous character decided just to retire. So he introduced a new character and brought him in. And of course, like, he brought this new character in like the last arc of the campaign, and they were going through some like trials where they pretty much didn't have equipment, and they were in very hard survival circumstances. And there's no spoilers because this is all pro here. And essentially, they had to fight a Remoraz, and the Remoraz just came up and grabbed him like, nom. I brought him down on the ground, and all the party just looked like, man, we don't even know this guy, and we're gonna die if we try to save him. So they all just like kind of waved goodbye. He was just one shot by a Remoraz and dragged underground, never to be seen again. Guess we're gonna share that purple worm now. It's not painted, but let's see here. Let me go grab the bespoke purple worm. Okay, so here's a purple worm, and then here's a variation of the purple worm, which is a Neothalid. And then where's my... And then here's an ice worm. And here is Ashy Dulu. That still needs to be painted. So yeah, I got a lot of worms. I gotta paint Ashy Dulu again. That's another one I can't seem to hold on to. Every time I paint an Ashy Dulu, someone snaps it up. Oh yeah. My players are really good players, but they are a bit power players, so I have to bring out things to challenge them sometimes. Put on a 5 hexer, yeah. Ashy Dulu, yeah. I was honestly tempted to paint Ashy Dulu tonight, but I do have to work on Thyraxis. I have the base coat done. I know, you always, like, I'm always excited to show him off, because I think he's, honestly, he's just a really fun design. I wish more designs were as fun as Ashy Dulu. Anything that can chomp commons is a high in my book, because I hate commons. Mainly because I didn't have them growing up. I just thought you needed one of your stuff. So I never bought more than one set. And I always just thought, wow, how do these drones work? What does it mean you can move 9? So I thought you just gotta take 3 turns with the drones. Then I was like, oh wait, as soon as I got the Sword of the Morrow, I was like, oh wait, you can have more. And then it was all downhill from there. I have to probably do a figure inventory. I don't really even know like what my status is of... I know I have at least one of everything except the reprints, the repaints. And... Oh yeah, you can eat multi-life commons. Value. Yeah, another reason the elites aren't high in my book. Because at least other multi-life commons usually have like large protecting them, but not the elites of Ular. They are snackable to the highest degree. Another one of my favorite colors, bright yellow green. Chad's determined to get you to 10,000 such stream is over. Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate everyone talking in, even if it means I get ragingly distracted and go on side missions. But that's how my life works. My brother-in-law says, I think you have ADHD or ADD or something like that. I was like, I never realized that before. But it makes sense. I was like, that explains why I can sit for 4 hours and not move from painting. But the moment someone says something else, I just get instantly distracted. Alright, we're using this bright yellow green to really just add in these final highlights. Really just make this thing pop against his battle armor. Excuse me, I have allergies. You have 3 more water packs coming in tomorrow. Like the waters of Valhalla. Are you prepping for the Kraken? That's a lot. I bought one and I'm overflowing with water. And when you do muscles, you want to kind of hit the outside and go slightly into the curvature of the muscles. You don't want muscles to look blocky. Milking the ocean around your... Oh, that's exciting. Yeah. That's, with the 24 hexes, and when we get that ship terrain, ooh, that will look really nice. I'm really looking forward to the ship terrain. I'm glad it's not just another here's the glacier outcrop remodeled design piece. Am I going to paint the bumps a different color than brown? The bumps on his leg, yeah, I want to bring them up. I'm honestly not working on them too much because I have to kind of hold them right here, and I'll just get the paint everywhere. So I have to kind of do that when I'm ready to hold them more like this. Unless you're talking about different bumps, then in which case I don't know. Every time I think I've made some progress, I'm like, oh wait, forgot to paint the legs. Mega Silver, if you're still in chat, what's the event you're going to? I'd always love hearing about events people are running or going to. Raising up these values. We're gonna mix this with the darker silver, just so it's not as an abrupt of a transition. Delta points, 525. Ooh, that's a fun form. I sometimes like when it's just I like when there's lots of points. in a format. Like, I don't like 450 too much. I think anything over 500 is always fun for me. 20 figs. Oh yeah, a lot of commons. So you're running. Okay, so you're the. I assume a lot of Necrobs in that army. And we are outlining the outside of these blades here. Me and Mega Silver always seem to match up when we're at an event together. Like, it's pretty consistent. And Mega Silver almost always beats me. Four times Nagrov, Swarm Raylan, Agent Skahan. Huh, that's an interesting build. What is... Skahan's gotta be there for filler, right? Like, she's not moving... She doesn't move the Dragoon, though, right? Yeah, no, she doesn't. Okay. Just for range, I assume. You know what? I want to be lazy. I'm feeling a little bit lazy. I'm just going to dry brush the lighter silver onto the blades. Dry brushing is a great way to blend. Don't got a lot of time. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Skahan's surprisingly tricky. I fought her with filler in a Death Chaser build one time. She did some damage. I just wasn't like, I underestimated her. She's just such a small sculpture. Like, yeah, I'm fine. But that double attack will. She has double attack. Yeah, she has double attack. Will mess people up. So when you dry brush like steel like this, especially when it's kind of flat steel, you want to put a little bit more emphasis kind of more towards the middle of the blade, and it'll make it feel a bit more like actual kind of reflective shiny armor right there. Once I tone that down with some wash, we'll be looking pretty good. Alright, what do I want to do next here? I want to do Ashidulu next. Look, it's just one color. I can blend it, and I don't have to worry about all these different colors. This is the point of a Thyraxis where I start to regret my life choices. Right? I'm like, okay, it's starting to get blocked in. Let's fill in all the details now. Of which there are many. Alright, so let's thinly add some brightness to the hands. Blend that in. And just hit these muscles here. I'm sad I don't think I'll be able to make Sir Heroscape's invitational, like his tournament online that he's hosting. I was hoping to make it. I was planning on running a really dumb army. And I don't think I'll be able to make it because I had another engagement come up. But I was going to run 4 times Molten Lava Crabs, Shurak, Molten Claw, and Ornak, and just have fun with the meme army at this sweaty event. Oh yeah, for sure. I'll be in touch. I'll see if I can get some stuff your way for you, Mega Silver. Thanks for hopping on. I eventually want to go to Hexacon. That's on my list of cons I want to visit. So it's pinned up there. I might actually do Hexacon this year instead of Scape-Con. Get in the schedule. Oh, the Dayton, Ohio trial. I am fascinated. I look forward to seeing your coverage on that. It's always nice to see some updates. But thanks for stopping in, regardless. Okay, we are getting there. See, in my mind, Revna is always the orange Jerome, and I hate that she's just like a boring tan now. Because I wish she still kept her orange identity. I think it would make her units a lot more interesting if all of them had tints of orange instead of red. Okay. Oh, look, another spot I missed right here. Count the legs. There's 8 legs, then another 4 arms, and another 2 legs. That's too many limbs. What'd it do? How you doing, Skateboard? Good hearing from you. We are painting the people's favorite, the Dragoon, which is the most scary unit to paint. And that is why it is a Scape-Oween fixture. I'm very loose on the definition of scary. Like, I was thinking about painting the Zed Nesbitt just to be like, yeah, there's nothing more scary than a rodent flying a giant aircraft vehicle. What are you more scared of? A vampire? Or a squirrel with a gun? Like... Yeah, classic Valkyrie journals. Still most of the color pool. Poor Revna showed up. Now I try to keep Revna in burgundy. Like, I kind of keep it like... So, Utgard is a very... Colors have temperatures. So, you know, Utgard is a very warm red. And I try to keep Revna a bit of a cool red. Even though I did go warm red for these guys, just because I was trying to color match the classic units. Or the pre-painted units. Yeah, so I try to keep it cool red. Or undertones of pink and purple. Ned flying a spooky pumpkin blip. Don't tempt me. I don't. I'll do a lot of things for a bit or a meme, so don't tempt me. I am strongly tempted by that. That would mean I would have to paint Zen Nesbit. I'm not. I painted one, but then I gave it to Tales of Valhalla because they asked. And this is. Where's the other half? Well, I don't know where the other half is. And oh yeah, here it is. And this is the status of my current Zen Nesbit right now. BFG. If you are painting your Zen Nesbit, I definitely recommend that you take an X-Acto knife and cut off at this spot, as he is almost impossible to paint without doing that. And yeah, he's a bit burdensome. I still like painting him more than Thyraxis, though. It's just this part takes a long time because I have to I have to highlight all these lines here, all this and all this. All right, well, back to it. It does look fairly nice when we get it all done, though. So at least it's not like there's nothing. I do a lot of experimenting with paintings with that, and I mean it's part of the process, but sometimes you just spend a really long time trying a new technique out or an idea out, and you're like, this just isn't working, and I spent like 6 hours doing this. Maybe I should have quit when I was ahead. But now I gotta spend another 4 hours fixing that 6 hours of work to get to a halfway decent state, and that is the life of a painter. Love that green mix of the blue. Thank you. Yeah, it's still getting blended in, but it's getting there. Using a very similar kind of tones of what we're using now, just kind of moving from that darker blue or green to more of a lighter green. Do you wish they can glue the unpainted? I would just, yeah, like, in general, I wish they just... I like models assembled. Like, I hate assembling models, but I think for the bigger models, especially unpainted, I wish the bases were disconnected. Just because they're a bit bulky. And I like to do texturing and bases and stuff like that. And sometimes it's hard to do what you need to do properly with the model on. And then, you know, for things like the blimp, I wish the blimp was detachable for sure, just for storage. Like, this is a hard unit to store for many people. I mean, I have my whole garage dedicated to this, but you know, someone in the apartment is gonna is gonna struggle storing all these guys. All right, what do I want to do next? Let's get this part in here that I missed. This guy you definitely want to go spin him around a couple times. Oh, the rider was not connected? Yeah, I've been thinking about just cutting them out and having them attached by magnets, just to have them as like a separate unit. Really just to make a meme of it. It's like, now you messed up. I un-Nesbit your blimp and just have him like on his own piece over here. Because I think he's pretty detachable. If I really wanted to, I could pop him off. And just have Zen Nesbit free riding out there would be kind of fun. But yeah, I think Zen Nesbit should have been 3 parts that you could have assembled together. I think it's fine to have him be the one model, requiring a bit of glue and assembly. Maybe a controversial take for Heroscape fans, but I don't know. I think it would make the overall user experience a bit more enjoyable. Some of these early AOA models, definitely I feel like the sculptor was not thinking, oh wait, this is a group of people who traditionally doesn't do a lot of hobby work and doesn't paint that much. I And then he was like, whatever crazy idea pops in my head, I'm going to do. For better or for worse, I think we got some really cool designs. And some designs from a painter's perspective that I don't fully appreciate. Honestly, the one thing I can say about the new designs is they are bigger, which means there's more surface area. You don't have to worry so much about fine details, which isn't terrible. There are worse fates to be in. Like, here's a oh yeah, the baskets for rockets. It's just a lot of pieces. Painted versus on here. I'll start with World War III. But yeah, this is the big unit right here. Like, this took me a half hour to paint. Like, it's just so big. I don't have to pay attention. Whereas like something like something like this, or something like this, where it's just lots of little details, lots of little stuff. It's just, you have to pay attention constantly. And heaven knows I really don't like paying attention to things. Yeah, it was pretty contentious time when it was announced. I'm glad the community has warmed up to it. Whether because they liked it or because they couldn't afford it any other way. But regardless, I'm glad that the painting channel is a bit more active besides me just spam posting there, which is nice. Oh wow, I've been doing this for almost 2 hours. Alright, we are taking this bright silver and we are filling in what we want to do. See, I don't like doing the little silver bits on him. I feel like the simplicity of just the orange armor works better. Bigger models are, I mean, there's always exceptions, but at least bigger Heroscape models are 100% easier to paint. Like, it's just brush size and brush control. Like, it's just, you bring out the big brush. Usually big models are just a couple of colors, you know, and you just slap it on. You can use a big dry brush, hit all the raised edges really nice, and it's really easy. Like, things like bigger models like this are okay, because there's still like a lot we have to work on here. Like, but it's better. Imagine if this was this size. So instead of using my size 1 brush, I'm using a size 3 or 4 brush for the whole model. So it's just less time. It's kind of, you'd think bigger models take more time, but they don't. Just because usually, unless you're doing like really pro paints or like 10 different colors, or they're really complicated models, for the most part, bigger models, you know, like painting a dragon is the most fun thing in the world to do. You get a colored primer, prime it the color you want, and then you dry brush 2 brighter colors onto it and fill in the details. And you can paint a big dragon in a couple hours. Compared to this guy, it was probably going to take 4 or 5 hours to fully get done, if we're being honest, maybe even more. And I have to pay attention the entire time, which is, you know, I think the downside. Let's get a little bit of highlights just to show where we're taking the body on this guy. And we'll probably start closing things up. It's been a really good chat tonight, though. You can tell it's a good chat when I have to get up like 10 times. We're gonna take some leather brown and just dry brush it all over the model. You, of course, can do some more layered highlights, but there's enough surface area where it's fine just highlighting those. Let's see. And we're going to tone it down too. Key thing in the dry brush, always test before you go on, make sure it's not overstuffed. You want it to barely come off your brush. Wipe on the paper towel. It helps if you dip it into a sponge beforehand, as it maintains a small bit of moisture to keep it less chalky. There we go, we're adding some detail to this part here. And people on the internet will try to shame you for using a dry brush. They hate it because it's easy and it's good. Dry brushing is a great tool to get stuff done and to blend if you do it properly. And it just saves so much time. And for some things it looks good. The problem people have with dry brushing is it inherently creates texture. Texture can be your friend or it can be your enemy depending on what you're doing. I typically try not to dry brush like cloaks because I want it to feel a bit more smooth and naturalistic. But like beetle skin, you know, like I can have a little bit of scratches and ridges and it shouldn't be perfectly smooth. And we're going to take a bit of that orange brown and mix that in just to create some off highlights here. And when you dry brush, it's like working with paint layers. It's just applied differently. So you sometimes want to do a couple passes over a key area. And the second pass usually just focus more on the raised areas, the parts you want to emphasize. And also know if you are applying a wash that it will darken it. So kind of keep that in mind if you want to go higher. If you're going to add a wash to it, or if you're going to kind of keep it as is, keep it a little bit more naturalistic and similarly colored, so it's not as bold of a jump. You know, if I just used pure white on this, it would look a little off, it would look a little chalky. But since I'm just using some very similar color tones, it kind of blends in a bit more. And I plan on just kind of taking a dark brown and blending this back down and kind of creating a glaze wash combination. I think let's do the eyes. Let's do at least the eye of this guy so we can get to a point of relatively good. You to watch me do the inane details. I think we got kind of the gist here. I am glad I base coated beforehand because it would have been an hour of me just going back and forth. Alright. Yeah, I got a lot of work to do on these legs here. I build up these spikes. But let's get some eyes going if we can. And find the proper paint. What I need. Let's see. Where did I put my black paint? My organization system would make many shudder in horror, as there is no system. It is pure chaos here, beyond the veil of the lens. I need help. Good amount of work. 2 hours. Well, thank you. Yeah, we made some good progress. We got over the hump, which is the best part. Now we can kind of just fiddle and get to a point where we want with this. Like, you could play with this on a battle after we do the eyes, and for the most part, yeah, it would be fine. We're going to do that extra layer of highlights, probably off camera, just because it's tedious. We're going to take a color, see how bright we can make it, and then bring it back down by blending and glazing, and kind of repeat that process till we are happy. I'll clean up his teeth a bit too. And they could use a little bit of ivory on them just to make them pop. They look a little not inspired. We're focusing on this eye here, though. We're going to do a very simple eye. You might want to do more of a better brushes with point eye. Find it. I had my 3-year-old daughter kind of. She wanted to help me straighten up, and I don't know where anything is now. This is one of my favorite brushes I use, is a size 0 Rosemary Sable. It's just, it's pretty reliable. It's a good workhorse, it's really sturdy, and it's really precise. So we're going to get a little bit of this white paint here. Full titanium white. The best white on the market. If you were to buy one acrylic paint, it is this one, because it's buttery, for lack of a better word. And we outlined the circle in black to create this dark shadow, and then with a very fine point, we're going to create a single white dot. Shadow creates the ring. We're going to add layer up here. When you do eyes like that, you want to make sure there's as little moisture as you can without it being chalky. So, because if it's too much moisture, it will just flow out and flow down. Okay, and we'll do the same thing to the other side. Single dot. It's nice that there's a big socket for those. And we're going to let that dry for a second. We are going to get... Where's my... One of my favorite sweet paints is Prismatic Bolt. Shake it up really good. And... onto the eye. Nature's sweet paint will make it look semi-reflective, but we can bolster up if we need to. Make sure we're focused here. When that dries, we'll put a little white speck in the center just to make it, or actually 2 white specks in the center, kind of simulate reflection. And for here, let's use some fluorescents. I've been working with fluorescents a lot lately, and they are my favorite things to use for eyes. Let's see here. If I can find what that is. Alright, we got some fluorescent green. Shake that up really good. Now, fluorescents are naturally kind of matte, and they are also very highly pigmented with strong pigments. So they appear to glow when applied. Some brands actually glow in the dark. and most are reactive to blue light. And they're very thin, so they come on like a glaze. Over right there. And so you have like this small glowing eye. When that dries, we'll put a small bright yellow dot in it just to really work on it. And I think we're getting to a pretty decent spot here now. I like to end at a relatively high point. Let's add some rhythms to this part here. Michael's got some new metallic fluorescence. I have not heard of that. I'll have to look into that. Metallic fluorescence. That's crazy. It's got to be like colored metallics, right? Like it's not like just standard steel, or is it? Like I will definitely research that after this. I actually lately have been liking to use fluorescence just for a little bit of extra highlight on some colors. Like, just do a little bit of fluorescence here and like the green, and it really makes it pop because you get these prominent highlight colors quite easily. Just kind of for some edge highlighting. Okay. Oh, color. Okay, that makes more sense. That's still pretty cool, though. Alright, so we got some touch-ups to do on the blades here. And, of course, just more metallic bits on the body. But this is kind of a good overview of just how to take your Thyraxis to the next step. Do some more advanced techniques. It's not hard. It's just time-consuming for the most part. But we're keeping our colors bright and strong, I think, and honestly at this point we won't need a lot of washes to blend it all in. Just a few maybe on the body, just to tone it down a bit, and we're going to brighten the teeth. We'll probably got a layer or two more of brightness to go, I think, is the final destination, but we are working our way through it, chewing through these colors slowly and surely. These legs are going to be a booger. They're going to take a while to work on. But overall, I'm happy with the progress we made today. Yeah, it's coming along. It's getting there. Thank you for everyone for watching. Definitely your comments and your viewership is appreciated. It is Scape-Oween, so we definitely got a lot more scary stuff coming your way. Or a few more scary stuff coming your way. I got some videos I'm working on, trying to get released in time for the holidays. The most important time of the year, spooky season, and yeah, we just got a lot of great stuff in the works. New Heroscape to play and talk about. Stay tuned in the following months. We'll be chewing through the dry-ins and the new releases once October's over, and trying some new things out. I got some things cooking that I've been wanting to get published for a bit. So excited to get it all done. Thank you all for your comments and your attention. My voice is completely gone at this point, so I bid you all good night and keep scaping on.